We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Voter protection bill, tax prep companies collude with social media, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. House Republicans have introduced a bill aimed at securing election integrity across the country, while also issuing a stark warning to Americans to watch out for possible Democratic deception surrounding the legislation. 5 Republican members of the Committee on House Administration held a press conference at the Marietta Diner near Atlanta on Monday to officially roll out the American Confidence in Election Act, also known as ACE, something they say will give states the tools they need to not only protect the integrity of their elections, but also restore voter confidence in the elections process. The bill includes a photo ID requirement to cast a federal election ballot, bars non-citizens from voting, requires annual maintenance of voter rolls, and prevents the mailing of unsolicited ballots to rolls that have not been maintained. According to the committee chairman, Representative Brian Stell, the ACE Act will make it easy to vote and hard to cheat, and will give states access to federal resources to ensure they can do things as simple as remove voters from voter rolls upon their death. Ukraine's future is in NATO. The Western Military Alliance's 31 members said Tuesday in a carefully negotiated joint communique issued at a high-profile summit. But NATO declined to give Ukraine a timetable or roadmap to membership, frustrating Ukrainian President Zelensky. Zelensky, who arrived at the meeting on Tuesday and will meet with President Biden and other NATO leaders on Wednesday, criticized the aspirational invitation as absurd, especially NATO's mention of unspecified conditions Ukraine must meet even to be invited to join. He later said he is grateful to NATO leaders for their willingness to take new steps to defend Ukraine. NATO members pledged new modern tanks and long-range missiles, further integrated Ukraine into the alliance, and said Kiev can skip a preliminary step before securing its eventual invitation. North Korea fired a suspected long-range ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan on Wednesday morning, according to South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff. Earlier this week, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, accused the U.S. of flying a spy plane into North Korea's exclusive economic zone and threatened to shoot down any additional planes that enter the area. This bellicose statement against U.S. surveillance aircraft is part of a North Korean pattern of inflating external threats to rally domestic support and justify weapons tests, according to Leif Eric Easley, a professor at Eha Women's University in Seoul. Pyongyang also times its shows of force to disrupt what it perceives as diplomatic coordination against it, in this case, South Korea and Japan's leaders meeting during the NATO summit. Cities across Vermont, including the capital, Montpelier, were flooded by swollen rivers Tuesday after up to 9 inches of rain dumped on the state on Monday. Thousands of people lost their homes and businesses in what Governor Phil Scott called historic and catastrophic flooding, though officials said no deaths have been reported. Floodwaters closed major roads and highways, and the Wrightsville Dam, just north of downtown Montpelier, was at risk of exceeding its capacity, though the threat of a breach receded by Tuesday night. The slow-moving storm had flooded parts of New York and Connecticut on Sunday, leaving at least 1 woman dead. President Biden, from the NATO summit in Lithuania, declared an emergency for Vermont and authorized FEMA to step in with disaster assistance. Some of the biggest tax prep companies shared sensitive customer data with Meta's Facebook and Google without consent or appropriate disclosures, according to a new congressional report. The 7-month investigation by a group of lawmakers found that TaxSlayer, H&R Block, TaxAct, and other firms sent customer data, including names, phone numbers, email addresses, filing status, income, refunds, and tax breaks to Facebook, which acknowledged it used that information to target ads to those customers, and Google. On a scale from 1 to 10, this is a 15, Georgetown University law professor David Vladek told CNN. This is as great as any privacy breach that I've seen other than exploiting kids. This is a 5-alarm fire. If what we know about this so far is true. The lawmakers, led by Senator Elizabeth Warren, said the companies violated the law and should face steep fines and other sanctions. A federal judge said Tuesday that Microsoft can complete its $75 billion acquisition of video game giant Activision Blizzard, ruling that the Federal Trade Commission hadn't adequately supported its case for an injunction on the merger. The FTC tried to block Microsoft's purchase, arguing the Xbox maker's acquisition of popular titles like Candy Crush, World of Warcraft, and the Call of Duty franchise would harm consumers and limit competition. U.S. District Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley disagreed, saying the evidence actually points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. With the U.S. path cleared for the mega merger, only Britain's Competition and Markets Authority stands in the way, though the UK antitrust regulator indicated Tuesday it would consider Microsoft's proposal to address its competition concerns. The National League beat the American League 3-2 in the 2023 All-Star Game on Tuesday night, thanks to an 8th-inning 2-run homer by Colorado Rockies catcher Elias Diaz. It was the National League's first All-Star Game victory since 2012, and only its 4th win in 26 years. Diaz, a 32-year-old journeyman who first signed with the major leagues in 2008, was named an All-Star MVP. The 2023 Midseason Classic was played before a sellout crowd of 47,159 at Seattle's T-Mobile Park. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.